Another leak from a closed-door session, which was supposed to be classified, and apparently, allegedly, that was something that was said about we feel confident in our ability in the correct period of time to clear any mines that we identify. And would encourage other countries to be a part of such an effort as well, but we're tracking that very closely. Mr. Chairman, you want to add anything to that?
No, sir. I think you covered it.
Right here, new members of our press corps here.
Jacob Wasserman with TMZ DC. We have two questions. I'm going to ask the first, and my colleague will ask the second. You know, I've heard you talk a lot about
We'll see.
Sorry?
We'll see.
Okay. I've heard you talk a lot about bombing people and places, and when you give these orders to carry out this extreme level of violence, what's going through your mind and your body? Do you have like an adrenaline rush? Are you scared? Do you feel like you're on a power trip? Just walk us through and paint us a picture of what it feels like mentally and physically.
It's a very TMZ question. My only thought process is to ensure that our warfighters have everything they need to be successful, defeat and destroy the enemy, and they come home.
That was the most TMZ question.
I want them to feel empowered, to have every authority they need within our rules and within our law to bring maximum violence to the enemy. Because war is violent, war requires doing difficult things, but I want our people to feel empowered, so it's our guys that come home and their guys that do not. Sure, I'll give you one chance.
Charlie Cotton from Team ZDC. You changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Would you consider changing the name again to the Department of Peace, since that's what we're all after?
Well, that's the pursuit. It's a great question, actually. You go from defense to war because you want to be proactive about peace through strength. And really, I gave a speech in front of generals about what the ethos of the War Department is all about, because I wanted to go through every echelon
of this
department. It means something. It's not just words. And when you fight a war the right way, the idea is on the other side you bring about peace. That is what we'd like to see the most. In fact, I once did a video about the one institution that should win the Nobel Peace Prize every single year is the United States military. Because we are the guarantor of the safety and security,
Remember that movie,
not just of
War
our
and
country,
Peace?
but of a lot of people in this world. Last question, yes,
He's
sir.
just trolling them.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Originally
Secretary.
published
I
in
do appreciate your time.
1867.
Signed February 28, 725
Have you read the book, Leo
drones
Tolstoy?
and missiles have hit the Kurdistan region as your loyal ally, killing 22 people and injuring 100 others. Even after the ceasefire,
1956, August 21st, the movie came out, War and Peace.
Out. My question
It's
is,
a great movie.
does that ceasefire include Iraq and the Kurdistan region? And really, what is your clear policy
Peace
toward
through perseverance.
proxies?
Some had
Like
been,
I'm asking this question
coining that
by
a little bit. I
President
like that,
Barzani's
peace through
statement,
perseverance.
5 times targeting his
PTP.
office, even targeting President of Kurdistan region residents in the Hope City.
We watch it very closely. And,
He's making a
and
speech.
That area and those folks, the Kurds, deal with
So
a
war
lot of what the
departments
IAMGs or the proxies are capable of doing. And
specifically
a reminder of the
there
reverberating
to
effect of this Iranian regime. It's not just what it does to its own
help
people,
with
killing
conflicts
45,000 of
between
its own
different
citizens just recently,
nations.
but it's also the terror they've brought to the region.
could
And
be
so getting a good
neighbors,
deal and
right?
making
They're
sure they
having a
can't wield
war.
nuclear weapon
1,
over
2,
top of
3,
those
4.
proxies.
I declare a
That's why this
thumb war.
resolution is such
And
an
even if you
important
start out with a
one. Thank you very
thumb
much.
war, and that starts to get
This is
violent,
interesting.
that's
So
when
the
authorities
biggest,
might get involved.
Major updates that
You
we had from this press conference.
Right, was it
Two-
the thumb
2 points. One
war?
was the ability
Where does the
that
war
United
part
States
come
military
in?
have in place. They now have the
Because there's nothing wrong with having a thumb war.
aircraft carriers who are now in the
Right, unless you
region.
try to bite off their
So the
thumb. Now
US
you've committed a
intel,
crime.
Thanks to obviously
Right.
the CIA
Or you
and
get
others
upset
that
you
have
lost the
managed
thumb
to,
war.
create the preparation.
You twist their
in terms
arm
of
and
obviously
break it.
responding
I
to
mean,
this
you
and
can go to
everything
jail
else.
for that.
If
That's
the
horrible.
ROTC don't realize that the ball is in their court, then they're going to be in trouble.
Right,
as
so
we
what
said,
departments would deal with this
we do
kind
have
of
the breaking news
conflict?
That Abbas
Right,
Arab,
so
the
when
foreign
it's
minister of the Islamic
concerning
Republic,
big
has begged
groups
the
or
Americans
nation
to come back to the
conflicts,
negotiating table
imports,
tomorrow,
exports,
Saturday, the
whatever it
25th
is, I don't know, I'm not
April.
a business
Apparently,
or
the
political
foreign
person,
minister will be
really.
arriving in Pakistan tonight,
Right, so
but
there
again,
are,
we'll wait
that's
for
what the
that
term
to
War
actually
Department
happen
means.
before anybody gets excited. Having said that, this doesn't necessarily mean that
Right.
The Islamic Republic,
Because it wouldn't make sense
will
to send
definitely
them
sign the surrender
to where
deal,
there's already
because
peace.
obviously it will be the end of
They don't
them
need
if
our
they
help
sign the
there.
deal. And if they don't sign the deal, then
There's
it
no
will still be the end of
conflict.
them, but it's just going to take some time because
Hence the War Department when there's a conflict. That's how you know it's a conflict, if you say Peace Department.
Full live coverage of these potential negotiations
I
tomorrow,
can understand how
Saturday.
that can be
And
confusing.
if something happens
Literally.
tonight, Roy says, hi, did Donald Trump say something about the Falkland Islands? The only thing he said is the one we already mentioned.
Peace
on this
bearers?
live stream. Argentina has all the cards on taking the Falklands right now. Not really, because the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, is there against war. But
Officers
Ireland
of
and
the law.
Chile have both said that the Falklands
Police.
belong to Argentina. I don't see Tutia Kier sending HMS Dragon
Game
to defend
warden.
the Falklands. No, the Britain will not. The British government will not defend the Falkland Islands. It's not the 80s anymore, unfortunately. But Javier Milei has repeatedly said that he's not going to take the Falkland Islands by force, only through negotiations, because obviously he's a libertarian. So it's not going to happen. Let's fancy conferences and get in a boat. Sarcasm high this morning. I love his energy. Do they have...
Question. Yes. So someone's asking a few questions pertaining to, let's see, hold on. Yeah, to answer those questions, whoever you are. Those, in the case over there, those case files in the blue and magenta, in those case files, yeah, those ones are going to be under, that was Ali, Wally, David. I know there's like 5 Davids, but because of those 2 associations, you'll know which David that is there. There's in that case study. I know there's a lot of Davids and the different, seems to be a popular name. Like John Smith. Some names just seem to be more popular than others throughout different generations. Could be. They say ideologies or something. Idolatry. I have no idea what you're talking about. I know it does. I don't. I have no idea what you mean. I'm just repeating. We like to mess with each other. Yeah, it's called joshin'. Sometimes they call it joshin' around. But yeah, that would be the Ali and Wally. So when you look at that time frame too, and then the one that was in Canada, that's a different David. But that one too, you can throw that, I guess, into the kit and caboodle in that time frame with different ones. And when you see how they're connected to the state workers, right? And just like anyone else, whether they're a doctor or scientist or work for the History Channel, investigator, getting the Karens, non-vaxxers, bullies, whatever it is, if they start to look at reality, they flip out as, oh, I can't believe you're taking their side. And I mean, it turns into this backstage shit show, and we're just like, anybody listening, if you want to talk about reality and address the facts and concerns, right here, there's a lot of us. As you can see, they get ignored too, and they're like, this is so weird. We are baffled. How come people are not addressing some of these things? That's why we said there's a handful of things. And when you see how many people are desperately trying to speak out about those things and getting called liars or conspiracy theorists, or yeah. Disturbing. It's quite disturbing. I agree. But yeah, that helps to show people. That was being watched very closely, and we were trying to explain to the people around here how the state workers we're using those things as an example to show naivety on our part. Oh, she's talking to terrorists. Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. And you even tell them it's not real. This is not real. And they'll be like, yes it is. Look. I know, Facebook. It's a beautiful painting, isn't it? Yeah. It's interesting. So that was all being watched very closely, and other teams who are aware are showing other people who care and use their common sense and rationality without ego. Right? Like unbiased, you know, kind of just doing what's right as opposed to letting people get away with things because you like them or it helps your income. I know, it's hard to say no sometimes when it seems so innocent and harmless. No, I can't blame people. Right? Thank goodness we're aware. That's what makes us so compassionate and understanding, at peace, forgiving. So people were watching and showing how the state workers were using that to manipulate the people around us. Look, she's talking to terrorists. And then when they repeated, oh my gosh, she's talking to terrorists, flipping out, telling me I'm going to kill people for suggesting less meat. They need their meat! Shoving hot dogs down my diabetic son's throat. It's real cute. Yeah, watch their stories on the Ghost Hunters of Maine. Give you a good idea. Right, so when you have an idea of what we're dealing with and how we can only love and respect them, and it does make us really sad that they choose to believe such silly, childish, delusional things and are protecting sick murderers, pedophiles, but we do the best we can. But yeah, if those are the ones you were asking about, yeah, a lot of people think that that helps to bring understanding, and then showing just the different levels and teams and groups of people that are watching and using these case studies to help show others that they're doing all they can and we're doing all we can, and how the me's oftentimes get killed or they're not aware. That's why they pick the retards, heavily medicated, the ones who already have a lot of Trump hate headed their way. What'd you have coming for years? How come? I know, and when you hear their justification, it just makes you sick, and you realize what demented, over-medicated, nasty pieces of shit pigs you're dealing with. All right, so anyways, you have any other questions, comments, or concerns? Great. Yeah, we're going to go make a tea, doing some stretches, probably pamper ourselves a little bit, do some painting. You're welcome. Thank you.